Guess what, vegetable nerds? It's October, and that can only mean one thing. Must be the season of the squash.
Hey, turn up the caramel and chisel on the shizney. It's time for me to what? Let me introduce myself. I'm Gino Burrito. My pants are made of leather. I find it hard to concentrate.
That's right, it is squash season. Now, technically, it has been squash season all along because there's two main types of squashes. There is the summer squash, which is like your zucchini and your patty pan squash and your yellow crookneck squash and all of the ones that are a little softer, a little more tender, and a little more perishable. But now it is time for the winter squash. And these guys ain't going nowhere. The great thing about these is they last. Now, this is especially great if, like myself, you are occasionally prone to not feeling so great for a while. Sometimes you don't really have the oomph to make food, and when you finally do again, you come back to your fridge and your crisper drawer is moist and full of wrong and bad things. These guys will wait it out. You know how I know? See this guy? See how he looks like he's lived a life? Well, he has. He's lived a life on my counter for so long. I don't remember when I bought him, and I sort of forgot that he was food. He started to be part of the decor, but I don't believe in decorative gourds because these guys for eating. And I'm gonna eat them, but not today. Today, it's all about this guy. We're gonna make some delicata squash. There are a million different ways that you can make this, but I'm gonna make it in the easiest, simplest, most fun way. Just so you know, this guy's a spaghetti squash, and I'm definitely gonna cook him too, and I will make a video about that as well. I'm gonna make a video about all of these. This guy's first. Delicata squash differs from some of the other winter squash in one big way. It is hardy and will last long on your counter. It doesn't have to be refrigerated, just like the others. However, the other ones, you're gonna wanna eat the inside goodies, you know, the soft flesh. This guy, you can eat the whole thing. And that means that you get to make squash fries, which is exactly what we're gonna do today. Now, if you've got kids, and I know sometimes it can be hard to get kids to eat vegetables, not as hard as the people who make food in the shapes of stars and dinosaurs would like to have you believe, it can sometimes be a struggle. This is a really great option because it's fun, it's finger food, you can make it taste like whatever you want to, you can make it look kind of cool too. I had a cool idea and I'll tell you all about it when we get going. First step, you're gonna wanna turn your oven on to 425 degrees. Fun fact, I have to turn the air conditioner off in order to make these videos because the air conditioner is loud. And so under normal, regular circumstances, I am real hot. And today, I'm wearing a hat. So I'm a little hotter. I'm about to have my kitchen heated to 425 degrees. So if you doubted my love for you, don't. So first things first, you want to take off the ends. So just a little piece off of each end. It's just gonna make it easier to work with. And you're not probably gonna eat this little piece, and you know what, you probably could. Let's save it, why not? But what it does give you is it gives you a nice flat plane so that you can stand it up if you wanted to. Because the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna cut it in half lengthwise. You want a nice sharp knife for this, and you wanna be very careful because you're gonna have to press down kind of hard. It's a hard squash. Anytime you're pressing down really hard with a knife, you wanna make sure your fingers are nowhere near there, okay? So if this is something that you're making with a kid, it is a lot of fun to make with a kid. This part's on you. Don't let little kids do this. I mean, unless you don't like them. I mean, I didn't mean that. Can I have an adult help me with this? It's really hot in here. We're getting there. Oh, we got there. So the inside looks like this. You got all these cool seeds in here. And just like with most members of the gourd family, you're gonna wanna take those seeds out. Also, just like most members of the gourd family, you can toast those and eat them. This is a cool part for a kid to help with, because like, you know, spoon and you get to stab, but without, you know, worrying about stab. So what we have is basically 2 boats, and we have some cool seeds that we can then rinse off, clean thoroughly, And you can spice them up, toss them with a little bit of oil, and toss those in the oven. I will definitely do that later. Next, we're gonna take our great big knife, and we're just gonna toss this like this. You want the flat side down so that you don't have an instability, which leads to an increased chance of stabification. And what you're gonna do is just cut some half moons, okay? And those are gonna be about that big. Look how cool and stripy those are. So about that thick. So you're just gonna all the way down. So now we just have a whole great big bunch of these guys. So we're gonna toss them with a little bit of oil and whatever seasonings we feel like. This is where you really get to be creative if you want to. Now, ordinarily, I would toss this with a fairly standard combination of spices. I might go with something sweet, something spicy, well, maybe, you know, some salt and pepper. So I might go with flavors like some cumin, some cinnamon, some nutmeg. If you have some pumpkin pie spice, that's gonna go great on this. If you have a spice mix that you bought and you're not sure what to do with, toss it on there. You know, this is your time to play around and have a good time with it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toss it with some Chinese 5-spice. So got a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy, some nice deep flavors in there. Grab yourself a bowl. You're gonna toss it with a little bit of oil, just so that it doesn't burn. I'm gonna throw in some extra salt. Salt's never gonna be a bad thing. Some extra pepper. You want a nice coating. You don't want to go like nuts with it, but you know, nice coating. So then you got your bowl of stuff and you just kind of mix it up. This is, again, got a kid in the kitchen with you, let them get their hands dirty. I love the colors on these with the orange and the green kind of stripies. Like it just looks, it looks like festive Halloween kind of food. When they're all pretty mixed up and you got them pretty well incorporated, what you got is cookie sheet with some tinfoil on it. Lay it all out. They should all be laid out in one nice even layer, and you just pop these in the oven. I mean, it's really that easy. That's if you wanted something more fancy, like what can I tell you? This is as complicated as it gets. So I'm gonna toss these guys in the oven really quick. Hang out for a bit. Grab a cup of tea. You grab some light reading, and you sit back and relax for a little while. Oh, about 15 minutes. Sound about good? Then we'll start poking it, and when it, you know, when it becomes sort of fork tender, that's when you want to start thinking about taking it out. So when they're about half done cooking, not only is your whole home gonna smell like real nice, but what you're gonna want to do is take them out very carefully and just kind of turn them all over so that they get some even cooking. See how they're kind of nice and brown on the top now. That was on the bottom, and it was just gonna get browner and browner and browner and maybe burnt-er and burnt-er. This one's a little dark. Now, if you wanted these to be sweet and you wanted to put some kind of sugar on here, this might be the best time because then you can get some caramelization without having it burn. Because you don't want it sitting on the bottom and getting stuck to the tin foil. Just like a nice little layer of like maybe brown sugar or just a little bit of like a drizzle of maple syrup might be nice. You can do all kinds of stuff. I'm not gonna do that. You can do anything you want to. So back in the oven this goes. Now, if you wanted to, at this point, you could be thinking about dipping sauces. I don't generally dip them in anything. I don't actually, off the top of my head, know what you would dip them in, but I'll bet you could make something real cool. Something maybe like a cream cheese based dip. I'm gonna have to think about that, maybe do some Googling. But I'm sure there's all kinds of things you could put in, and it's also gonna depend on what you spiced it with, so it's gonna be different. I do have a suggestion. I came up with a thing while I was waiting for the oven to come up to temperature, and I was thinking about all the different things you can do with this since it's Halloween and everybody likes to do kind of like, you know, Halloween themed foods. If you were gonna make like a meatloaf, you could separate that meatloaf. Instead of one great big meatloaf, you could make like 4 loaves or maybe even just 2, and you could stick these guys coming out like maybe 4 per loaf, like monster claws. And that might be something fun to do. Oh my god, that's good. They're so good, they're so good, they're so good. And that outer part that was so hard. Now it's nice and soft, but it's firm enough that it's giving you something to hold on to. So you can just pick that up and eat it just like that. If you think I'm faking for the camera, you are so wrong. It is delicious. Okay, so they are out of the oven and they're resting. They are nice and golden. They are so pretty. They look like that, our little squash fries. So I took a look through all of my sauces and things that I might make a dipping sauce out of. Now, because it's me, I have a lot of hot sauce. So my first thought is some of this guy. This is our habanero hot sauce from Hot Mama Salsa, and it's got that sort of sweetness to it. It's like a nice little line of that sauce. Oh, I almost don't want to try the others. That's so good. I wasn't gonna make a sauce. I never make a sauce, and then I was just like, meh, let's talk about a sauce for something to do. And now I have this stuff. I've never had it before. I tried it on kind of a whim. Ginger pow, fresh ginger fermented chili sauce. That seems like a flavor that might go well with this. Okay. Oh, it's fermented, so it's okay that it does that. Okay. That's strong. That is also a strong contender. It's different. It's got a lot of similar notes as the habanero sauce, but this guy, so it's got carrot, ginger, cedar-aged vinegar, garlic, habanero chili, sea salt, yeast extract, xanthan gum, natural bisulfate of soda, and cultured dextrose. Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, now it's lava. It's just, okay. Why though? Why? The thing to keep in mind with fermented foods is they are alive. And alive things tend to have a mind of their own. Generally, this is all the gases created by the bacteria that are pushing it up and out. Very rudely, you might add. So that sauce was like straight up delicious, but also a little volatile. So if you end up trying that sauce, just be a little careful. I'm not sorry though. Oh, I was gonna say, the difference between the two is that one is a little bit more vinegary. It's got that fermented sort of sharpness, but it's really balanced out by the warm sweetness of like the carrot and the ginger and the habanero and all of that. And it's just, it's so good. So good. This one here has a lot of similar flavors, but it's a little different. It's not as vinegary. It doesn't have that fermented sort of bite to it. It tastes orange. I don't know how to say that better. Like, I'm not a professional food eater and describer. I did say that maybe a cream cheese based thing might be nice. So I have some cream cheese. Just gonna make a little bit of this. So there's a spoonful of cream cheese. And I have just a tiny bit of a jalapeno jam. And it's not beautiful, but you know, we're just gonna eat it. One of the butts that we saved. Let's see what happens. Also delicious. I can't lose. I'm on a winning streak. It's sweet and it's creamy and it's not too spicy. It is a pepper jam, but you really tone that down a lot when you add that cream cheese. The nice thing is you don't have to choose. I certainly don't. So I'm gonna put some of my Hot Mama habanero on some of them, and I'm gonna put some of that that explosive fermented ginger sauce on there, and I'm gonna put some of my cream cheese and hot pepper jam concoction on there. This has been a win, and look how easy it was. I mean, how many steps was that? Cut it in half, scoop it out, chop it up, put your spices on there, toss it in the oven, flip it. That was nothing. I did find a cool recipe that is a version of this, but more complicated with more ingredients, and it sounds really cool. And I had, I think, everything to make it, and I was really tempted to make that, but I was like, let's start here. If you've never made delicata squash before, don't jump straight into the deep end of the pool making something complicated. Just know that if all you have is that squash, you can make something super delicious and easy anytime you want to. And it's super fun. And you can sword fight with it. and you can drop it on yourself. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you did, I really appreciate it. Please like this video if you liked it, and please subscribe if you take a minute, just so you know, in case you didn't know this. Every time somebody subscribes, my face goes like this. So if you'd like to see that happen, maybe think about doing that. And if you want to share this with your friends, share this with your friends. If you want to share this with people that you don't know, share it with people you don't know. It's all good. Thank you for hanging out. We will make more squash in future videos. It's coming soon, so stick around for that. I think next up is gonna be this poor side butternut squash. We will see. I think we have plans. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.
Hey, turn up the caramello and shizzle on the shizney. It's time for me to what? Let me introduce myself. I'm Gina Burrito. My pants are made of leather.